Okay, first of all, congrats to the Dodgers being able to go back-to-back. Awesome for those guys. It was fun. What a game 7. What a job by them, coming back from down 3-2. And we enjoyed watching that in the team meeting room. There's a lot of guys that were fired up, really our whole team. So congratulations to Dave Roberts and the whole crew. So happy for them. And, we'll see if we can continue to do some good stuff like they did. But I was pleased with the way that our group came out today. I think really the last 2 weeks has been a good example of, a lot of our practice preparation, practice performance equaling game reality. Can't say enough about the defense, just making stop after stop. Landman gets another one. Forbes gets his first interception. Kobe Turner has a great stop on 4th down. You're talking about 3 possessions in a row where they don't come away with any points. And then I thought offensively, Matthew was in total command. I thought our offensive line was excellent. It's a tough, prideful group. I thought we had command of the game really from the jump. I know you guys are going to ask me, it's got to get better. We're going to be able to figure out how to be able to fix this, but it can't continue like this with regards to our kicking operation. I'm not going to get into blaming anybody specifically. Ultimately, it's my responsibility. It's gone on for too long, and we got to be able to fix it. But I'm really, I don't want to be negative after there were so many positives from our group as a whole. That was obviously not ideal. We've leaned into it, and there's some instances where it's not getting better, and so we got to be able to figure that out. But ultimately, that responsibility falls on me. But I am really proud of our football team as a whole. I thought our defense and offense were excellent. I thought Ethan Evans with the 2 punts that he did have to hit, excellent job being able to pin them deep. And then the one that we did end up having to cover when we were backed up, was a really good job by our coverage units. So we'll put a positive spin on that. How's that for you, Gary? Don't ask me about the field goal operation. All right? So.
Do you have an update on
Puka's good. I think he's going to be good, Sarah. He got his ribs. He could have come back in the game, but we kind of had command. Felt like it was the smart thing, and he didn't. He could have come back in, but we kind of erred on the side of caution. Another guy stepped up and did a really nice job today.
So just keep it positive.
That's my guy right there.
You guys are tied for first in the NFC. What do you like about this team moving forward? Aside from the special teams?
Sure. Here's what I like, Timmy. I like the fact that we're getting better. I can feel us starting to play really good complementary ball, especially offensively and defensively off of one another. I think we're getting out to some early leads where you kind of feel like you have a little bit of command. Relinquished a little bit of momentum at the end of the half where they cut it to a 10-point game, but you can feel our guys came out. I love the fact that we were able to sustain a long drive that ended up in a touchdown offensively to start the second half. But it's a combination. I think, the coaches are doing a great job. I think the players ultimately are the ones that bring it to life, but there's just a good vibe. There was a good sense of urgency, a good enjoyment for the appropriate urgency and that balance of enjoying it. And I think that showed from our week of preparation. I think we've really stacked 2 good weeks together. Matthew's been outstanding. I thought Kyron ran really well today. It was good to be able to see him punch that in, but there's a lot of stuff that we can build on, and man, there's a lot of stuff that we can clean up, which is what's encouraging because we're going to need to play, we're going to need to continuously improve throughout the season. It's 1 game, but to be 6-2 after 8 is a good start. And I think we've learned a lot about our group, and what a great challenge to go to Levi against an excellent opponent that we got a ton of respect for. And I'm looking forward to getting started with that preparation, when we finish up. We'll enjoy tonight and then get rolling on the Niners.
So what is that process of evaluating the game?
Here's what I would say. It's about acknowledging, the totality of where the issues are. And again, I don't think this is the venue or the setting to be able to blame anybody. That's never what I believe. But we've got to be able to get it fixed. And it takes all 11. And there's some instances that I could go in depth of what occurred, but that doesn't move us forward in the right way. Ultimately, I got to be able to, figure out, all right, collectively with our coaches, all right, let's address the issues. Let's see what the possible solutions are, and then where we go from there.
Coach, how do you feel about seeing Devontae Adams obviously continue to evolve, but also being mentioned with a name like Tony Gonzalez?
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad you brought that up. I should have acknowledged it. I did with the team right there. 8th all time in receiving touchdowns. 109, is it, Artis?
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, what a credit to his just consistency, his body of work, his greatness. And he's one of those guys, man. I mean, he made some big-time clutch catches in the red area. He's obviously got 5 in the last 2 weeks, and he's a stud. Love everything that he's about. Love working with him. It truly is a blessing, and he's brought so much to our group. But it's a real credit. We always talk about, the truest measurement of performance is that consistency, and he's been consistent over the course of his career, and he's brought a lot to our football team. I love Devontae Adams.
Coach, can you talk about the offensive line, the way they were able to execute the pass?
I thought they did a great job, Dennis. I thought really they had control. That's a good rush. It's a lot of guys that play physical. They're a defense that I have a ton of respect for. You look at what they did against a great offense last week in Tampa Bay. But I thought our offensive line was outstanding. Ryan Wendell, Zach Cromer, and Brian Allen had those guys ready to go. I think our tight ends were an extension of the run game and that protection, with Colby Davis, Tyler Higbee, and Terrence Ferguson. And, I'm really pleased with them. I think they're just getting better. I think we're able to mix up some of these different personnel groupings and present some different stuff. And today was a great step in the right direction. I thought they strained across the board. I was really proud of all 5 of those guys. And, Warren McClennan's done an excellent job. It was great to be able to get Rob back there. I thought he battled both of our edges, our 2 guys on the inside with K-Dot and Steve, and then Coleman Shelton leading the way with his command and his communication. It was awesome.
When you're facing
very public in expressing confidence in Josh Hardy.
Yeah.
But moving forward, is one of the options bringing someone in for competition?
Yeah, I think, I think there's a lot of instances. I think when you look at it, what I would say is I got confidence in Josh. There's a lot of layers to it, and we'll evaluate all parts of it. And so I think no different than when you're throwing interceptions or whatever it is. I think naturally the narrative shifts towards the kicker, and that might not always be the case.
But you guys have shown signs of being a championship team. Your offense
Yep.
and defense.
You would just keep digging in on this.
Can you be a championship
No,
team?
it's going to cost
How do you
us.
keep it up?
It's cost us already. And it's got to be. It's been a momentum killer. It does take the air out of our sails. Our guys have shown that they can respond and overcome it, but you do have to be. The harsh and the truth of it is this is not sustainable to continuously go where we want to go, and that's really just trying to be able to go get our 7th win against an excellent football team. And we're fortunate that we've gotten away with it, but it has cost us, throughout the season, and that's something that you can't run away from. That's the truth. But what I will say is that hopefully you can appreciate and respect is that the granular elements of why it has or hasn't gone down, I don't necessarily think this is the appropriate time to acknowledge that. I don't believe in, putting anybody out there, and it does fall back on, it is my responsibility to be able to figure it out, and thought we were trending in the right direction, and today was a step back, and that's disappointing, that's unfortunate.
Sean, when
you
you're
said for
fa-
Matthew during, you talk about him being in command.
Yeah.
And we've seen that before, but particularly in this stretch, what are you seeing from him?
All the things that you really just mentioned, it's just great command, great understanding of what he's seeing, great ability to be able to distribute the ball based on what the coverage dictates. I think he's pushing the ball. I think he's understanding situationally what's the right way to be able to play it. I just have total confidence where you can call the game through him, and he's done a great job of taking care of the football. He's not putting the ball in harm's way. He's understanding the different situations that arise, and for him to be able to, again, just another game where he's in total command, and we're sure grateful to be able to have him running the show for us.
Sean, when
What will it take?
you're facing an inexperienced quarterback like you were today, what's the formula?
An inexperienced quarterback?
He's a rookie.
Yeah, I think it's really just, try to impose our will, earn the right to be able to rush them, to get into some of those 3rd down situations. We had a ton of respect for them, their coaching staff, their outfit. I mean, they got skill all over the place, with, Shaheed, with Olave. Obviously, Kamara's been doing it for a long time. Johnson at the tight end. Brandon Cooks is a guy that we know well and love. And so, it was about earning the right to be able to rush and dictate the terms, where you kind of feel like you have the pen defensively, and I felt like that was the case a lot. But Shuck's a guy that's going to be a good player in this league, and, wish those guys the best.
Last one.
Thoughts on, besides the Dodgers winning, it was so great the
Yeah.
way they did it.
Yeah.
How about the LA pride factor from a sports standpoint overall and what it does to the city, and how you guys want to be on top of that as well?
Yeah, you just mentioned it. I mean, when you're inspired when you watch the way that they competed, the way that they overcame some adversity. I mean, you look at the run that they had where they don't lose it, they don't drop a game, getting into the World Series. You go down 3-2. You see some videos too. I think, just the culture that they have. When you listen to the way that those players talk about one another, the way that Dave Roberts has really found guys that they play for each other, they stay connected, they stay in the moment, and they inspire me. And I know they inspire our group. And so, hopefully we can continue to represent the city the way the Dodgers did. Really happy for those guys. Thank you guys.